Two engineers can do the same job and get paid $80,000 apart. Not slightly different, radically different. One reaches $200,000, the other stays at $120,000 or below. Same title, similar experience, sometimes even similar output. The difference is not visible at first, but it compounds over time. What looks like small variation becomes permanent separation. The system does not reward effort evenly. It amplifies certain positions and ignores others. And once that difference appears, it rarely reverses. Most never recover from it. Now, the assumption most people make is that higher pay comes from better skill, more knowledge, more experience. But that explanation breaks down quickly. Many engineers with strong technical skills never cross into top salary ranges. Others with similar or even weaker technical depth move past them. The system is not measuring everything equally. And what it measures most is not always obvious. What looks like merit is often positioning, and positioning is rarely visible from the outside. Now, the real difference starts with positioning. Some engineers operate closer to high-impact systems. They work on infrastructure, revenue-critical platforms, or decision-heavy environments. Others work on stable, low-risk systems, maintenance, internal tools, supporting layers. Both are necessary, but they are not valued the same. The closer your work is to outcomes, the higher the leverage. And leverage is what gets priced, not effort. Effort is required. Leverage is rewarded. Now, proximity to decisions becomes another dividing line. Engineers who interact with leadership, product direction, or system-level changes gain visibility. They influence outcomes. They become part of how the system evolves. Others remain execution-focused. They deliver tasks, but they do not shape direction. Visibility is not about exposure. It is about influence, and influence translates into compensation faster than execution alone. Influence compounds, execution stabilizes, and most engineers remain trapped in execution longer than they expect. Now, the market does not reward roles equally, even when titles match. Two engineers labeled software engineer can operate in completely different economic layers. One may be building scalable systems tied to growth. Another may be maintaining internal workflows. Same role, different economic impact. The title stays constant. The value does not. And compensation follows value, not labels. Titles standardize. Value differentiates. And that difference is what the system actually pays for. The same title hides very different levels of leverage, and most people never see that difference until it is too late. Now, skill composition matters more than skill quantity. Engineers who combine technical ability with system understanding, communication, and decision awareness move faster. Not because they know more, but because they operate differently. Pure technical skill stabilizes income. Combined skill accelerates it. The system does not reward depth alone. It rewards usable leverage. What you know matters less than where and how it is applied. Application determines outcome. Now, entry paths also shape long-term outcomes. The first roles engineers take influence trajectory more than they expect. Starting in high-growth environments creates access to better systems, better networks, and better positioning. Starting in low-leverage environments creates stability, but limits exposure. Over time, these early differences compound. The system does not reset. It builds on prior positioning. Early alignment becomes long-term constraint or advantage. Now, long-term divergence becomes visible. Engineers who enter high-leverage paths continue to accumulate advantages. Better projects, better teams, better visibility. Others accumulate experience, but not leverage. The gap widens even if both continue to improve. Improvement alone does not close the gap. Alignment does. And alignment is harder to change later. The longer the gap exists, the harder it is to reverse. What starts small becomes structural, and structural gaps do not close with effort alone. Now, risk is not distributed evenly. Lower-paid engineers often face visible stagnation. Higher-paid engineers face invisible pressure. They must continuously justify their position. But they also operate in systems that allow growth. The difference is not absence of risk. It is type of risk. Some risks limit you, others accelerate you. And most people do not choose which system they enter. They inherit it early, often without realizing it. Now, the system reinforces this separation. Companies optimize for impact. They allocate higher compensation to roles that affect outcomes directly. They do not equalize pay across similar titles. They differentiate based on perceived leverage. Over time, this creates structural inequality inside the same role. What looks like unfairness is actually consistent behavior from the system. The system is not broken, it is selective, and once it selects, it reinforces the outcome. Final verdict. The difference between $120,000 and $200,000 is not just skill, it is position. Two engineers can do the same job and still end up in different income tiers. The system does not reward everyone equally. It rewards leverage, proximity, and alignment. The title stays the same. The outcome does not. And once the gap appears, it becomes harder to close than most people expect. And most only realize it after the separation is already permanent. By then, the outcome is already locked.